Hello, students. We'll start now our next chapter on functional hardware parts of PC. What are the hardware parts are there in the PC, inside the PC, and how it functions? That we'll see today. The main components of a PC, main hardware components of PC are system board, CPU, memory, bus, interrupts, DMA, and device controllers. Here are the seven basic components of a PC. Let's see. What are these? All this one by one. Let us see first the system board or motherboard. System board is sometimes called motherboard. This is the main component of a computer. Okay, this is the main component of a computer. CPU sockets. So many. All the components of a computer are available on the motherboard. For example, CPU. There is a CPU socket available here where the central processing unit which is inserted here. This is the location of the motherboard. This is one standard motherboard, but nowadays motherboard size and shape has changed. This is a basic motherboard, 286 motherboard, because 286 is the CPU chips here. There are expansion slots, expansion slots. So you have to attach something on the motherboards like graphics card, LAN card, or video card. This you can put it here. It's called expansion slots or bus slots. Socket for coprocessor. You see, the coprocessor is another job is done by the some job of the processor CPU done by the coprocessor, which is this is socket of the coprocessor. Then the ROM sockets. ROM means read-only memory. These are ROM sockets. Okay. Then RAM memory slot, random access memory slot. These are the random access memory slots. यहाँ पे memory chips रखा जाता है, insert किया जाता है. These are slots. There will be keyboard adapter, then video adapter. Somewhere here it will be inserted. And IO devices, lot of IO devices will be there. Then power connection will be there. This is a power connection to the all the components. So we can add. There will be a hard disk and hard disk controller. There will be floppy type controller. With old computer, my floppy drive and hard disk controllers are there. Nowadays, floppy drives are not there. Then you see one more thing. In earlier computer motherboard, there is a chipset. The chipset nowadays is not there. All the functions of chipsets are done by CPU. So there are other controller will be there. Something like USB port controller. Then HDMI port. Nowadays HDMI ports are there. These are not available. It's not shown in this diagram. But they also that will be the also available on this motherboard. Today's motherboard. This is the main part of a computer. Okay. Now let's see the next. What is the next? Next is CPU. The CPU or central processing unit is the brain of computer. Whatever job is done and controlled by a computer is done by CPU. That's called central processing unit. Now, performance of CPU, performance of computer performance depends on CPU power. How fast your CPU is there, your computer performance will be depends on that. Now, computer performance depends on this clock speed. CPU speed measured on clock speeds. For example, P4 machine has more than 1 gigahertz clock speed, so it is faster than 286 machine. CPU from outside looks like this. This is a Intel CPU, Core i7. Okay, and internally, the CPU has this structure. It has arithmetic and logical unit. It has its own control unit and its own registers and memory. CPU has its own memory. Computer has memory, random access memory that is separate, but CPU has its own memory. That there are registers. Registers cache memory also. Cache memory is the fastest memory. So whatever CPU um, does instruct, execute instruction in between result, it stores in the cache memory because it is very fast. That for storing purpose, it doesn't go to the RAM. It stores in the cache memory only. So arithmetic and logical operations are done by ALU of CPU. AL means arithmetic and logical unit. CPU can execute millions of transactions in seconds. It has its own memory registers that I told. What is the process it does? What is the cycle of operations in CPU is it fetches instruction, it executes the instruction, and store the result in registers. This is the one cycle of a execution. So this type of millions of instruction it executes in seconds. Who are the main player of manufacturing the CPUs? Is Intel number one and AMD are the two American companies manufacture more than 95% of computer CPUs. This is about the CPU. This is the brain of a computer. Now let's come to the now next important components. All are important. The other very important components are memory, PC memory. You see, PC memory, there are two types of memories. One is primary memory, and that is secondary memory. Now, RAM is a primary memory. RAM is a we call random access memory. It is a volatile memory because as soon as your data will be available on the RAM as long as power supply is there. Whereas in secondary memory, there is hard disk, floppy drive, pen drive. These are the secondary memory. If power goes off, data does not get vanished. Data will be available on these devices in secondary memory. That is called non-volatile memory. Or this RAM is a volatile memory. High-speed volatile storage that CPU can read and write to. Now, how the memories are, where the memories are kept in that motherboard. They are kept in the motherboard. I've shown you that location. There are RAM chips. This is location of the memories. These are the memory slots where all the memories are. Memory chips are memory SIMs are kept here. Okay. So, SIMs are inserted in the motherboard as shown in the motherboard location. Now, SIM is what SIM is. SIMs is a mini circuit board with several DRAM chips mounted on it and called single inline memory. ये सिम्स पिक्चर में है. You see so many chips are inserted here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. memory chips are inserted on the printed PCB, that is called SIM. This is single line memory module. Normally, nine memory chips are normally mounted on it. DRAM means dynamic random access memory. DRAM are inserted here. Now, this is sometimes is called memory bank. The memory bank or SIMs are inserted on memory slot of motherboard. Now you see, subsequently this is changed. I mean, you see, computer performance as it depends on the CPU speed. It depends on the memory size also. If you have sufficient memory, the operations will be faster. If you have less memory, performance will be low because it goes on stored. It cannot process so many data simultaneously. It takes help of secondary memory in that case. That is called swap in, swap out. Something it goes from the RAM and keeps in the secondary memory, and when it is required, it reads the secondary memory and brings to the RAM. So it takes a lot of time. So that's why if memory is memory size is more, the performance of the computer will be better. Now this the initial computers, what SIM card is to have are SDRAM. That is called synchronous dynamic RAM. Now subsequently, uh, but that's SIM is 32 bits data path is there, and so to increase the performance of a computer, now that is DIM are used. DIM is double data rate. DIM means double path, double path inline memory module, double inline memory module. It is 64 bit, and whatever SDRAMs are inserted on this, that works on 64-bit data bus. Now, subsequently, some other memory chips has come. They are called DDR, DDR1, DDR2, DDR3. DDR means double rated. DDR means it's a double data rate memory. So, similar DDR2, DDR3, these are the faster and faster memory apps come technologically improved to improve the performance of. Let's see what is the ROM. ROM is a read-only memory. ROM is read-only memory and its contents cannot be changed. It is non-volatile memory. यहाँ पे जो store है, जो in basic some programs comes along with ROM, and that is non-volatile. That means if power goes out, no supply, that information available on the ROM will be available for you. The DROM, ROMs are so many categories, like PROM, programmable read-only memory, then EPROM, erasable programmable read-only memory, then another EEPROM, electronically erasable programmable read-only memory. So basic now BIOS is stored in ROM and is executed while booting a computer. There are some basic programs, that's so-called firmware, are supplied with the computer that is available on BIOS. Which, for example, when you initiate your switch on your computer, it checks all the components available on the motherboard and checks everything is okay or not. If that error comes, then system gives an error and doesn't boot. So when it is successfully errors are checked and it's working fine, everything is fine, then it goes for it give instruction to the operating system OS to start the other job. So it comes BIOS is comes along with the computer and it is stored in the ROM. BIOS is communicated with the computer hardwares. ROM is a 24 28 pin chips. This is a memory map. See, in Initial machine on DOS machine was there. That time they used to use only conventional part. That means 0 to 640K of memory is used by DOS system. So first 64K of PC memory is called conventional memory. Okay, and DOS can directly access this portion of the memory. After that, initial now इसका bifurcation कैसा है? Initial 1K is for BIOS. Next 50 it was used by DOS. Next 15 by TSR. TSR means terminate stay resident programs. Next 178K by other applications. 641K to 768K is used for video memory. So after 640, after conventional memory, this portion 178K was used by video memory. No, 178 nahi, is one. How much it comes? How much it comes? It comes around 126 MB, 126 kilobyte used by your video memory. Now beyond 1 MB memory is called extended memory. So this is the your initial 1 MB memory from this to this. After that, the memory is called extended memory. That is used by Unix and Windows. This portion is used by the only DOS system. Subsequently, you might have not seen the DOS machine. Earlier, it was like DOS machine used to access this much memory only. And after 1 MB, it is called extended memory. And extended memory is beyond extended memory. Afterwards, the memory area hai, that is these are expanded memory. Now, 8286 based PC can access 16 MB memory space. See, your CPU has to be seen. What are the how much area it can access? That depends on the what is the address bus of the CPU system. What is the address bus? That we will see next time, next slides. So 286 machine has a 24-bit address bus, so it can access 2 to the power 24 memory space. That means 16 MB it can access. Similarly, Pentium machines can access 4 GB of RAM because Pentium machine has 32-bit address bus. Okay, this is the memory map of a computer. The next is bus. Now you see, bus is what? Bus is a digital shared pathway between computer components. Now shared means what? Shared means this bus is used by all the components of on a motherboard. This is by CPU. This is used by memory. This is by input output devices. Okay. So computer has three buses. One is address bus, one is data bus, and third one is control bus. This is the address bus, the data bus is control bus. And data bus can be 8, 16, 32, or 64 bits. Data transfer speed depends on the data bus size. So if you have a 8-bit data bus, that means 8 lines are there. Lanes are there. Each lane transmit 1 bit. Okay. If you have 8-bit data bus, then 8-bit data, or that is 1 byte data will go per clock speed. Now, if you have a 64-bit data bits uh, path data bus, there is a pathway. Bus means pathway. If you have 64-bit, then 64-bit data goes at an instant. So it goes in 4 times faster than your 8-bit data bus. That's why data transfer is faster than 64-bit machine can transfer can transfer data 4 times faster than your 8-bit machine. So data transfer speed depends on the data bus size. Address bus can be 20, 24, 32 bits. This address bus. The amount of main memory which can be accessed by CPU depends on its address bus. Suppose you have a 20-bit data bus, so it can access to the power 20 to do a 20, that much area of memory you can access by this 20-bit data bus. So that means if you have more and more address bus, you can access more and more area, more and more area. Control bus carries control signal from processor to other components. A control bus sends the command, sends the command and control signals to the components. What is to be done at when it has to be done. It is done by instruction is given by CPU. Now CPU talk to memory, expression boards, coprocessor, keyboards, other devices on the motherboard through this shared digital pathway. These are they have digital pathway. These are the metal discs, these are buses. If you see the motherboard, you can see that is visible on the metal discs on the motherboard. They are the bus of your motherboard. Now, you see one thing is if you see, we have mentioned that we have three types of three type of buses. One is address bus. The address bus is you can see from here is unidirectional. It means CPU give the address. Suppose you need some data from memory, it gives the address to the address bus, and it goes to the memory or any IO controller. From if you go data is required, data is collected from the memory and gives back to the data bus. Address, address is given by the CPU, given instruction to fetch data from memory. Address bus goes to the area location of the memory and fetch data, comes data bus, and data now is being taken back to by CPU for further processing. So address bus is a unidirectional bus. Whereas data bus is both bidirectional. Control bus also bidirectional. It goes from the control bus to CPU and CPU to control bus. Only address bus is unidirectional and both data bus and control bus are bidirectional. So one more thing, when your memory address bus gives the suppose it is your 8-bit machine, so CPU needs some data. CPU send 8-bit to your address bus, and at 8-bit will be some it will give some area of the memory. The memory से data क्या आएगा? Data will come in terms of bytes. One byte one byte means one word. Each word of the memory has its address. By this address bus, we go to the that word and takes and fetch the data from the word. That is in terms of bytes. So if you have a bigger word size, then more data will come. This is why if you go for 64-bit machine, it brings data, huge data in one stroke. Whereas in 8-bit machine, it brings less data. If you have a 8-bit machine, then you can access only 8 to the power 8. That means 256 KB at 256 bytes only it can access from your memory. You see, the processor and memory capacity. If processor is, these are the processor 8088, 8086, 186, 188. This address bus size is 20. So maximum address memorable addressable memory is this. This is 1 MB. So 2 to the power 20 means 1 MB data it can access. 286 and 36 machine can go to 16 megabyte. 2 to the power 24. 386 can there is 32-bit machine. 32-bit machine means it is 32-bit data bus and 32-bit address bus. 386 machine is can go 4 GB. Pentium can go that also can go to 4 GB because that was a 32-bit machine. But subsequently new processor has come 36-bit that can go 64-bit 64 gigabyte data memory space it can go access data from so many 64 gigabytes data can access. Okay, this is the address bus is it adjusts methods for your access to memory access depends on your address bus. What is it now this was the bus standard. Okay, now what is the standard? Is there some motherboard has some standard in that based on your bus size. सिस्टम बस का जो साइजेस है उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करके इसके सब मदरबोर्ड है सब स्टैंडर्ड्स फॉर एग्जांपल द 8 बिट मदरबोर्ड आर कॉल्ड आई से बस आई से मदरबोर्ड और आई से बस the industry standard architecture bus has 8-bit database data as well as 8-bit address bus. IC bus can run at 10 megahertz speed. Okay. Initially, the computer came earlier, the machine XT and AT. They are native 16-bit. That initial machine was 8-bit database and data bus and 8-bit address bus. So the standard was called IS standard. Subsequently, 32-bit data buses come. They are called ISA bus, EI, extended ISA bus, extended industry standard architecture. The 32-bit data path and 32-bit address bus was there. No, subsequently, it is not. I mean, it was available in the market for a few for a short period. Subsequently, that technology has changed, and PCI buses come. PCI bus is a very high performance architecture. This PCI bus means peripheral component interconnect. You see, the bus is not only for connecting the transferring data from memory to CPU or accessing memory by address bus. It has to access all the component also other component all IO devices just to address. Okay, so your everything depends on your bus speed and at bus size at what speed the bus are works and what is the bus size. So PCI bus was developed in 1993. I mean, this is a newer technology. It has 32-bit bus, address bus as well as data bus, and runs at 30 megahertz. You see, it's so fast. Earlier it was a 10 megahertz. Now it is 33 megahertz. It is a faster performance bus currently used on PCs. Okay. Next is the elastic USB bus. The USB bus means universal serial bus. It's easy to use and compatible with wide range of peripherals. All need to come with USB port. It's easy to use, compatible and speedy bus. All machines nowadays you can see that you can put that your pen drive. They're actually on USB port. We call it USB port that runs on USB bus. USB 2.0 standard can be used for video conferencing camera because it is a high speed bus. So USB 2.0 standard can be used for video conferencing cameras, high speed printers or other high speed devices. Latest USB is USB 3.0 and has speed 10 times faster, that means 4.8 Gbps, 10 times faster than your USB 2.0. So technology changes, the architecture changes. So nowadays, most of the equipment comes, you see, comes with USB bus. Every printer comes your USB bus. Then you can attach so many devices on the computer through USB bus. Now next is the interrupt. Interrupt is a very interesting thing. Interrupt when comes, see when you're doing some job, you see in real life, you're doing some job, you're studying, maybe you're studying, you're busy with study, and your mother calls you. So that is, and so you give attention to your mother. If it is urgent, you go and go along with her because she has called you. If it's not urgent, you continue your job, you continue your study. So when mother has come and called you, that is something that is called interruption. Call it interruption. Similarly, in computer also there is called interrupt is there. Interrupt is a situation when CPU discontinues its running execution process and attends some urgent situation suddenly arrived. So when CPU is doing something, it's busy with executing its instruction. Okay, what CPU does basically, it fetch instruction, it execute instruction, then stores the data, result in a register. I mean CPU's own memory. Register is the CPU's own memory. So there is one cycle. Suppose CPU's fetch data and it is executing. Then some interruption has come. So CPU what it does, it completes the process of execution. I mean, execute the data execute the instruction and store the data in register. Then it's give attention to the interrupt. And interrupt can come from where? It come from any place. It can come from because of internal problem, because of external problem, because of software interrupts. It can be software interrupts. Now, when internal interrupt comes, suppose some error has come while processing. Error like suppose you are in computation, you are dividing some number by zero. So there is error. There is internal error. So it gives it raises the flag and informs CPU that something wrong happened. So this is example of interrupt, internal interrupt. Now external interrupt means suppose we are using keyboard. Press enter on the keyboard. It creates an event on the keyboard. Or you click the mouse. So there gives a interrupt for CPU. It is an interrupt. So what it has to do, it has to go through, it has to see that what this interrupt means. Suppose someone you clicked somewhere maybe on some image you have clicked. So CPU has to do some job there. So CPU has to divert his attention to that event, the mouse click event. This type of interrupt is called external interrupt. Then there is another called software interrupt. So when you are processing your application, your your program needs some system services. In that type of interrupt, it calls some system services. Suppose you program calls for now for printing. Your program is running in some stage. You have given some display or given some print command. So that time it raises a interrupt and inform CPU that some printing job has come. What has to be done? So that type of interrupt is called software interrupts. Now, who does manage these interrupts? Interrupts are managed by internal interrupt handler and interrupt controller. Two elements are there that manage the interrupts. One is a software interrupt handler is a software. Interrupt controller is a hardware. Services offer on each type of interrupt are different. Suppose there is a software interrupt. You ask for printing, so services will be different. If you you've sent an interrupt or maybe your power off is another interrupt. So services will be different. It will display that your job is your data is in the memory. Something displays now when you switch off the computer. These are the interrupts, and accordingly CPU give instruction what has to be done. Now interrupt can be maskable or non-maskable. Means interrupt can be disabled also. Some interrupts can be disabled. Suppose non-priority interrupts can be disabled, and the interrupts which can be disabled are called maskable, and the interrupts which cannot be disabled are called non-maskable. Okay. Now this is DMA. DMA is direct memory access. You see, when there are some jobs, non-priority jobs, which can be done by somebody else other than CPU. Okay. For example, you have given a printing for 100 pages to print. So CPU को कुछ करना नहीं उसमें. CPU got the interrupt. It is asked that 100 pages I have to print. So CPU what it does, it gives the assign this job to somebody else. That is called, and that element, that controller, it gives somebody some other controller. And that controller what it does, it takes the data from memory, RAM, and prints it, and keep on printing till 100 pages are over. And when 100 pages are over, it give another interrupt to CPU to tell that my job is over. So what are you doing basically? You are accessing your memory directly. So this technique is called direct memory access. Is called technique is called I mean this is a technique. DMA is a technique and it's done by DMA controller. Okay, so what is written? Let us see. Direct memory access is a technique for high-speed data transfer between memory and I/O devices without CPU's interference. Simply I/O devices and memory in between them only job is done. This job is controlled by DMA controller with the consent of CPU. DMA cannot do on its own. If CPU tells, then only it does. Same data bus and address bus are used by DMA controller and CPU for high-speed data transfer. Same data bus and address bus are used by DMA controller with CPU for high-speed data transfer. It means data bus are same only in the motherboard. Data bus are same. That data bus are shared by CPU. The data bus are shared by DMA. The data bus are used by all the peripherals of the computer. Okay. So for high-speed data transfer, the same bus or data bus are used. Same data bus and the memory bus, address bus. I mean, address bus will give you the location of memory from where data has to be picked up. Data bus will give the, so you have 64 data bus, 64 bit will come together and it will give for printing. During the data transfer by DMA, CPU executes instruction in queues. So when CPU is giving instruction to DMA controller to print that information on the printer, during that time, CPU will not sit idle. It will, because lot of instruction will be already in the queue. CPU will be busy with executing that instruction. DMA raise interrupt to CPU to take control when data transfer is over. Suppose, like I told you, printing. When data transfer from the memory to the printer is over, then the CPU, one more interrupt is raised by DMA to CPU that my job is over. So this is the function of DMA, direct memory access. And lastly, the device controller. Now, what is device controller? You see, all devices. I mean, it may be printer, it may be floppy drive, it may be mouse, it may be keyboard, it may be hard disk, anything you tell. All devices has its own controller on the motherboard. Just two parts. You see, all devices has attached to the computer by two basic elements. One is called device controller. One is called device driver. For device drivers, you can you see whenever you uh, use some item. Suppose you use a pen drive. No, initially pen drive का कुछ driver है. That is software again. Are installed. Without driver वो काम नहीं कर सकता. Similarly, this is a software part. This another hardware part is there. They are called device controllers. All the I/O devices of computer are connected to CPU through a controller called device controller, like printer controller, CRT controller, floppy drive controller, hard disk controller, like that. So that means all the I/O devices, it doesn't get connected to the CPU directly. It gets connected to through I mean device controller. Floppy disk controller, floppy disk is connected to the floppy disk controller, and and there is FDC. And FDC is connected to DMA controller through bus. Because data transfer floppy से data I mean read करना है, and it will go to memory. So floppy disk controller, floppy disk is connected to the FDC, and FDC is connected to DMA controller through bus. Similarly, hard disk are connected to hard disk controller, and hard disk controller is connected to DMA controller for high speed data transfer. Okay. So similarly, all the devices, IO devices are connected to computer through device controller. Functions of device controller are interfacing with CPU, memory, IO devices, receiving commands from computer, decoding commands, transferring data between computer and devices, interrupting CPU for data transfer. Okay, because suppose you want to transfer some data, I mean from pen drive to your hard disk. What it does basically, it interrupts for data transfer. It interrupts, say, raise the interrupt CPU that it needs data. It wants to read data from it wants to transfer data from pen drive to hard disk. So what it does, it reads the data from pen drive and store in the memory, and from the memory to hard disk. This job again done by DMA only. So therefore, so many jobs are there of computer. I mean, mostly pertaining to IO services. Input output services are done by DMA controller. So next this is the end of your chapter 8, and I mean this is a function. This is also we finish our functional hardware parts of PC. So we have seen what are the functional hardware parts. They are system board. We have seen CPU. What is CPU and how it works? In memory and type of memory. We have seen bus. We have seen the three types of bus are there. We understood now what is interrupts. We have seen what is DMA. Then we have seen device controller. These are the main functional hardware. Okay. I now close it now. Please take care.